My friends, the great experiment.
We should analyze the optical properties of this movie.
We've got 50,000 movies in the database. There must be something worth watching.
This is a movie house. This place isn't about function. It's about fantasy.
You could always read a book.
Welcome to Greatest Trek Film Fest Employee Review. It's a movie review festival podcast that is happening in the brief interregnum between TOS Season 1 and the next season of Strange New Worlds, which is coming right up. I'm Ben Harrison.
I'm Adam Pranica. We're on our best behavior because our employee for today's episode is the best in the business. It's Wynde Priddy. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys.
Are you super mindful about everything you're saying and all your filler words?
Yes.
And all of it?
And all the noise I might be making on my track. Mm-hmm.
Well, I was telling Ben that because I have never been more self-aware about those things than I am when you're on mic with us.
Yeah. Thankfully, I only have to have a small dose of myself in this job.
What is your relationship to the film? Well, introduce the film you selected for us and tell us what your relationship is to that film.
I might have selected 1966's most watched movie. Maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
Seemed like a blockbuster type of deal, but I picked Batman, the original. And I picked it because this is the Batman of my childhood. Like, I always watched this after school, the TV show, and apparently this movie falls kind of like right in the middle of the TV show that ran for a couple of seasons. But this was always on reruns after school, and I like how it's on the silliest end of the Batman spectrum, you know?
But like when I searched for it on like Apple Movies, and you search for Batman, you get all of the Nolan, like the Dark Knight Batman artwork. And then they sort of Dark Knight artworked this Batman too, to like make Adam West look tough and like his uniform isn't the brightly colored one. He's like got a hero pose in the tile.
Like some graphic designer was told by some suit, like, you need to make this all look visually cohesive because we're putting the little DC logo in the corner of all these. They got to look like one big thing that's all the same product and the same guy with the same ethos and everything.
When, in point of fact, they really couldn't be more different.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what makes Batman so great.
Yeah. How much does this have in common with the show? I know that like Catwoman is not played by the same actor as the show.
Yeah, the show had two different Catswomen.
Okay.
Eartha Kitt, of course, the classic.
You'd better pray that Batman is a man more than he is a policeman.
I forget what the other lady's name was, but...
Pay attention.
Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
I also kind of picked it because, like many things at this time, it has a lot of crossover in the people in it with Star Trek people. So Catwoman in this movie, I think, is going to show up in TOS in a couple of seasons as a guest star. And I think the Riddler in this movie is one of our black and white cookie people coming up on TOS.
Oh,
amazing.
Do you have a sense of how this was received in 66? Because I kind of feel like this is such a silly Batman. It almost feels like it's kind of making fun of the whole idea of Batman. Like when they like almost turn to camera and say like, we support our local police officers and stuff like that. It feels very subversive in the way that it does that, you know?
It's almost making fun of itself. I think it was definitely going for something very creative, you know, visually creative, like comic book, pop art. It wasn't trying to look regular. It was trying to look weird, you know, the whole time with the askew angles and all the choices that they make visually with the show. So I would assume that people were like, what is this comic book come to life? I don't know how groundbreaking it was. That would be an interesting thing to know, but certainly visually interesting.
I read that they did create these characters as inspired by the comic books, not just the comic books contemporary with the 60s, but like the earliest Batman comic books, where the characters very much had these sensibilities. And from what I read, like the Batman and Robin that we get here is very true to those natures of the original comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, like hearing you say that makes me realize that the dark, gritty reboot of Batman came to comics and then it came to movies, and that was the movies picking up earlier referent comics the way the original Batman movie picked up earlier referent comics. So, yeah, let's dive into this one. Thank you for picking this, Wynde. It's been on my list to watch for the longest time, and I'm delighted that we finally had an excuse to watch the 1966 superhero classic, Batman.
You had every reason to punish us, Wynde, and you're very nice. Thank you for Batman.
Holy employee review, Batman. Have fun.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Wynde.
Ben, I don't know about you, but I love knowing who a movie is for right up top. Mm-hmm. And when you dedicate the movie at the beginning instead of the end, it really sets the table for who this is for actually. And I, like you have often said, I felt excluded from this movie from jump.
Well,
enemies of crime,
but also fun lovers. I think you enjoy fun.
You know what? I do love fun, and that is so necessary as a message and a table setter right up top. Because if you're just looking for something to do in 1966, dip into a movie theater, having an afternoon, like, you need that, I think.
I think you need that. It also apologizes for leaving out any other kinds of lover that they might have forgotten exist.
You could have been a producer in 1966.
I felt a deep kinship right off the bat to this film. We get a very fun, colorful, almost James Bondy again intro sequence.
I wish we stuck with the narrator. I thought this was going to be a film guided by the narration, but I think we don't even get it at the end.
No, it's like the little, like in comics, you have the word bubbles, but then you sometimes have word box that's
right,
like attached to the upper edge of the frame. And that's sort of what this narrator feels like, but then it just goes away for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
We've got a situation afoot. A yacht is bringing a scientific invention from the UK to Gotham. And there's some concern that the person who invented this invention and the invention itself may be in danger. So Bruce Wayne and his boy Ward are heading to Wayne Manor to look into this situation.
I feel like Ward wasn't a thing until recently, at least in my mind. Like, never heard the word used that way. Didn't really know what it meant until really Star Trek Discovery. When Sarek called Michael Burnham his ward.
Yeah.
And I had to look it up then.
Like, you can become a ward of the state, or in this case, you can just be Burt Ward, and that's probably how he, walked into getting cast for this role.
Does that make you sad a little bit that, Robin may not have a choice in any of this? Like Dick Grayson, his non-Robin character. Like, maybe he doesn't even want to do this at all.
It's like parents giving their kid a very specific name that kind of forces them into a box.
Right.
Which is why Burt Ward grew up in a group home and
I know.
Had a pretty fucked up childhood. Hey, he landed on his feet. And they land on their feet when they slide down the fireman pole into the Batcave, having hit the switch that makes you be dressed as a superhero on the way down. They show them hitting this switch so many times that I was like, okay, for sure somebody is going to fuck with this switch at some point, or somebody's going to go down and bump it accidentally, and Alfred is going to be in the bat suit or dressed as Robin, or there will be hijinks with this.
This is like making the choice to show the entire saucer separation sequence every single time. It's even talked about.
Yeah.
There must be something so exciting about this to a 1960s audience where you want to see it every time. Sliding down a pole, who doesn't love watching people do that? And when you add the additional automatic costume switcheroo switch, what a thing.
I think that the feeling I had that this was Chekhov's instant costume switch was almost immediately obliterated by the movie having labels, and items that have very specific use cases all over the Batcave and all over like everything Batman and Robin use. It's like everything in the movie is Chekhov's gun in a way. Like if it's all Chekhov's gun, then you only have to set a certain number of them off to satisfy the rules of drama.
Absolutely. Good thing Dick Grayson knows how to read. That's a tough situation for a young person if they don't.
So they've switched from the drop top, maybe Cadillac or something that they showed up to Wayne Manor in, and they're now in the nuclear-powered Batmobile. They're heading to the airport, and this is a version of Batman where Batman is like plugged into the infrastructure and city government systems of Gotham. So like they are openly working with the police. It's Commissioner Gordon is not sneaking around to coordinate things with Batman, nor are the entire staff of the airport, who they call up and have wheel out the Batcopter so that they can go out to meet this yacht before it even makes landfall.
It's one of those fun bubble dome helicopters of the 60s with little bat wings on the side. That's fun.
I have a fun fact about this helicopter, Adam. I have taken a ride in this helicopter.
What?
This helicopter survives. I don't know if it's still flying. I think they maybe decommissioned it finally in 2020 based on some like cursory internet searching. But
because Kobe Bryant was on board. During the tragic accident.
Very sad. Very sad what happened to that credibly accused rapist. But this was like a thing at the New Jersey State Fair that you could go on a ride on this copter. It didn't have the wings. I guess those probably had to come off for safety reasons. But this copter was flying, and I famously helped shoot a music video for a boy band out of New Jersey when the man walking down the carnival aisle said, "What is this, Beavers?" We decided to get a helicopter shot of the state fair, and I was nominated to go up in the Batcopter to get it because you could pay like $15 and take a ride in this thing.
That is how so many stories of an independent filmmaker dying during production begin.
This does not look super high tech. Like there's a lot of like pieces of sheet metal that are kind of badly joined, very visible in a couple of the shots of this thing. But they take off, and Gotham City is in love with Batman. You see a bunch of swimming suit clad people sunbathing on the roof of a building, jumping up and down. So excited to see Batman. You see some cops like salute them as they go by. Everybody loves the Bat.
I think there's a dilution of brand happening here across the Batman universe. When you give your technology the Batman name and credibility, like the Batarang or the Batcopter, or what we see the Batboat and stuff later, you assume a standard of quality. And when the Batcopter drops the Bat Ladder from beneath it, you are made to understand that there is no standard of quality. This is just a standard rope ladder labeled with the Bat Ladder label, and that just made me so sad. You need to have standards, Batman.
You know what I was thinking about when I saw that label at the very bottom of the Bat Ladder was somebody had to sit there and tie all of those little pieces of rope together to make the Bat Ladder, and then after all that work, they had to suffer the indignity of also tying on a sign that says Bat Ladder.
They dropped the ladder so that Batman can go down it and attempt to land on the yacht that's below them. And the thing about this sequence is that you go from Adam West's costumed face, doing the star treatment version, and then the wide shot of the stunt guy doing it. And that cape is a fucking problem for a stunt like this. You can see him like struggling and getting entangled in the cape and in the rope ladder.
The cape really feels like a liability. And as he gets down to the bottom, the boat vanishes, and in its place jumps a very chompy shark. And Batman it's just kind of like got onto him like a canine on a package in a police drug bust. Like the shark has bitten him and it won't let go. And we need the shark repellent bat spray, obviously. So Boy Wonder is going to leave the stick of this helicopter, climb down the bat ladder, and hand the can of shark repellent bat spray to Batman so that he can free himself from the jaws of this terrifying beast.
There's a lot of intentional and unintentional comedy in this movie, and this is a moment where I thought the most unintentionally hilarious thing happens, because when you dunk a rubber shark underwater and then, lift it up to make it look like it's attacking Batman's leg, his bat leg, this thing, once it's out of the water, looks like it is rocketing piss out of out of itself as it latches on to the bat leg. And I just thought that was hilarious.
It took on water in the drink, and it had to come out somewhere.
Yeah.
So shark cloaca was where that happened. It also really felt like the stuntman was just kind of holding the rubber shark against the ladder with his knee to make the case for the shark still being attached. The second it drops back into the water, it blows up. So
that seems unusual for sharks to do, right? I mean, just all the way around, this seems like a very strange behaving shark.
It does. Nice to see the explosive sea creature. Otherwise, it would just be described as an explosive sea creature, and you'll just have to take their word for it that that's out there somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Support your police. That's our message.
We have a Bat press conference, and the press corps is really, they're grilling the Bat. It's a Bat roast.
But I feel like this is red meat to any reporter, right? There's a disappearing yacht out there, an exploding shark too. Like, tell me about that. And for Batman to just stonewall them, these very reasonable questions about these things.
Please, no more questions about that ship.
What about that exploding shark?
I wouldn't worry about that either, Mr. Varick.
Come on, man. Give him something.
There is some discussion of Commodore Schmidlap. The invention has something to do with Big Ben Distillery. They want to know more about that. Commissioner Gordon and the chief of police are there, kind of running interference for the Bat. But amazingly, there's even a foreign correspondent in the scrum, a Soviet reporter for the Moscow Bugle. And she doesn't know our ways, obviously. She would like this Batman character to take off his cowl so that we can know the secret identity of the Bat.
Great Scott, Batman, take off his mask.
The woman must be mad.
This is like Pee-wee saying, how about we let him go in that biker bar? The pushback on her idea is pretty hard, and it comes from every direction.
No! What I think gets her to back off is Robin stepping forward and saying, our secret identities protect the people surrounding us. We're normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're innocent men. The press gets out of there, and so now it's just the heroes and the upper brass of the police department. They discuss how this explodey shark disappeary boat situation was not what they were describing to the press, but was in fact a botched hit job on Batman. Somebody was trying to kill Batman by making him think there was a yacht out there.
There's like a real woo feeling after the press leaves, because they're like, God, could you imagine if we told the public the truth about what happened? Yikes.
It would cause a panic.
Can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, this kind of feels like the same math they're doing in the Situation Room and Executive Decision, right? Like, we can't go public with what's happening.
Pretty reasonable idea is floated in the room here. Like, this seems to be a pretty sophisticated bit of business. Maybe a super criminal is responsible. Hey, which ones are currently out on the street at the moment? For that, they consult a computer and a television screen, and it turns out the Penguin, the Joker, the Riddler, and the Catwoman are all free at this moment in time. It could be any of them.
I love deductive reasoning because of growing up watching Data pretend to be Sherlock Holmes. So when they go through the logic of this, we were dealing with a shark, which is a type of fish, therefore penguin. Fish come from the sea. The letter C is the first letter in Catwoman. The shark was pulling his leg, which is how you describe a joke. So the Joker must be involved. And all of this puzzle piecing together so cleanly must mean that the Riddler is also involved. So the 4 identified supercriminals must be working together, or at least that's what it seems like at the moment.
Watching them do this with each other verbally must happen this early in the movie, because what you need to understand about the hierarchy of anti-criminal investigation and prosecution in Gotham City is that these are not smart people. They're really not.
I think that Adam West is so funny every time he goes like, there's no other way of interpreting this, Robin.
It's really breathtaking to watch.
The Russian reporter has left City Hall and gone to Ye Old Benbow Tavern down on the docks, which is a real fun environment. It is just kind of perpetual bar fight, people making out, people drinking, people tumbling down the stairs. It's also the front for the hideout of these 4 super criminals. They have some rooms upstairs where they plot and scheme against the Bat. And we realize that this Russian reporter is none other than Catwoman, actually.
You can tell that they've been there for a long time because they have, painted the wall with the brand of the United Underworld.
Mm-hmm.
They seem cozy.
Right. And the bloom seems to sort of be off the rose on the idea that they could work together to advance all of their aims, because they bicker constantly. Every time they're there, they're working together just barely.
It is an example of like, if stupid people were just competent and better collaborators, then terrible shit would be happening way more often. And God, aren't we lucky that that bad people are so fucking stupid, right?
It boggles the mind.
The thing about Catwoman here, and I think it starts here and it goes throughout the rest of the movie, Catwoman should be in charge.
Why don't you put her in charge?
You better just start dealing with it, Hudson.
She's the only one with any poise. I don't know if she ever recommends greater and better collaboration, but God, I would honestly nominate her as the leader of this crew if I could, just because she seems to have it together more than anyone else.
She does. It's sort of Penguin feeling like he's in charge. Like that was a
Penguin has most of the stuff, which I think is critical.
Right. It is his largesse that is making this scheme possible in many ways. But I was kind of surprised by the Riddler and Joker being less central. Like I feel like Joker in particular in modern Batman is kind of like the primary Batman foe, and that is not the case in this movie. He's almost the least compelling member of the bunch.
It made me wonder if it had to do with the sequence of the movie to the show, because the show ran for 3 seasons. The movie is positioned between season 1 and 2. The Joker is like a primary antagonist in season 1. Like, what a weird choice it would be to do Star Trek Generations between TNG season 1 and 2, or like to position any film mid-series like they did. I wonder if that was strategic, like in a let's bulk up the bench of Batman bad guys using the movie, and then in seasons 2 and 3, we can fill out those episodes with these folks who are more developed now.
I also sort of wondered watching this and knowing that, is there like an alternate universe where this was kind of the direction they took the Star Trek movies? Like, oh yeah, like if you're going to do a movie adaptation of a TV show that is got some serious things in it, but is primarily pretty silly, let's just like turn the silly dial all the way up as we infuse it with more budget than it usually has. And the fact that they like turned the silly dial almost down to like 2 or even 1 for Star Trek the Motion Picture is like kind of surprising given this choice. But the villains have a prisoner, and this is Commodore Schmidlap, who is speaking of idiots, a British aristocrat that believes he is still at sea and they're just like fogged in somewhere and they're just waiting for the fog to clear so that they can safely navigate to Gotham.
Do you get the sense that Schmidlap is the inventor of this device/weapon, or he's just the bagman?
I think he's like the proprietor of the distillery that for some reason invented it, and maybe an underling invented it, like that conversation in The Wire where like they're talking about whoever invented chicken nuggets must be super rich. And it's like, no, like the guy that invented chicken nuggets like makes a salary and works in the basement at McDonald's. He's not the one that's rich.
That ain't right. Fuck right. It ain't about right. It's about money.
The reason I ask is this film is populated almost exclusively by idiots, except for Bruce Wayne / Batman. And I wonder if that's strategic in the way that like a hot person wants to surround themselves with fives to make themselves look even hotter.
Yeah.
Like, did Batman choose Gotham City for its relative stupidity compared to other cities so that he can look so smart?
He only seems to be the world's greatest detective because of the pretty low bar to clear that is the criminal underworld of Gotham City.
Yeah, kind of seems like it sometimes in this movie.
Speaking of Batman's amazing ability to detect, Penguin is pretty stressed that Batman may have detected the method by which they made the yacht disappear. So he sends some pirate guys to go get their submarine ready. There's like a few different like kinds of hench in this movie. There's like the black sweater and jeans and beanie cap henches, and then the very silly like Captain Hook coded pirate guys that don't speak in pirate accents or do anything piratey aside from having like Halloween store pirate costumes.
I love how the ones you're describing respond with a yo-ho to all of the orders. That's what you do, right?
Right. But it's not like they're talking like pirates.
Too many words of dialogue, Ben. They could never say that.
For as big as some of the villains go, these pirates don't go big.
No.
Sir!
Batman and Robin run the tape back from the Batcopter, and it reveals that the yacht was never really there. This was something that, like, their eyes deceived them, and they also have in that footage a strange buoy that shouldn't be there.
Tricky buoy, an illegal projection buoy cleverly camouflaged. Wow!
They've got to take the Batboat to investigate, and this thing hauls ass like a hydroplane. It does not look like the footage is sped up. This just looks like one of those jet boats you see on a lake that a rich guy drives that is just dangerously fast.
There's definitely a episode or two of Baywatch in the offing when you see this boat.
I love when we cut to the interior shot of this boat, how saltwater corroded many of the things are on this boat. It really looks lived in.
I mean, like the helicopter, this boat bespeaks having been used previously in a way that so few props and locations in modern films do. Like, nobody seems to live in a house that has like personal items in them anymore. And like every car is like impeccably detailed, even if it's a cheap car. They're heading out there. They don't see anything on radar, but the sub is picking them up. And the Penguin is kind of like takes the reins and is pretty exercised about the fact that the dynamic duo are on the case in this way.
Batman and Robin mount the bois and they find a powerful projector beneath a sheet of metal. Like, Batman just like unscrews one screw, an entire panel falls out, and out flops the projector.
Yeah.
And this is what this thing used to make the yacht seem like it was real.
This buoy really pulls a Lenny Kravitz when the projector lens flops out. Wow! Speaking of salt corroded, the front element of this extremely powerful lens that they're talking about looks also to be in very rough shape, but Clearly, this is how that illusion was achieved. And while they're looking at this thing, they also see a very fanciful penguin-y periscope watching them do what they're doing. Penguin has a few more tricks up his sleeve. He can like ultra magnetize the bois, and that traps Batman and Robin with the metal elements of their utility belts.
It's a pretty great move because once you've stuck our superheroes to the buoy, you can just shoot torpedoes at it, right? And that's what they decide to do.
How great is this? You're like getting rid of the evidence and the people looking for you at the same time? 2 birds with 1 torpedo.
There is a device squirreled inside Batman's tool belt that he struggles to reach, but eventually they're able to use it to pre-detonate the torpedoes that are incoming. All except for the last one. Where did the last one go, Ben? I wondered this for a very long time.
The thing about this movie is there are many sea creatures that do not appear on screen, but are described later. A heroic porpoise, like a Secret Service agent, threw itself in the path of the bullet before it hit Batman and Robin, sacrificing itself for the greater good. What a noble beast.
He gave his life for ours.
Batman's dialogue here and throughout this movie is just like Cousin Greg testifying in Succession. Like, he cannot speak normally at all, at any point.
Okay. No, thank you, sir. So I shall.
It's incredible. And it would be bad and stupid if he slipped in and out of this throughout, but because he's so consistently weird in the way he speaks and describes things, I'm actually totally with it, and I love it.
The consistent weirdness is not just in dialogue, it is also in every scenario.
Yeah.
Like, they get back to shore and they're like, let's call the Navy, and a lady picks up the phone. She's sitting next to the head admiral of the Navy, Fangschleister. Admiral Fangschleister. And he's like, oh yeah, let me look in my Rolodex here. Yeah, we did actually sell a submarine last Friday, as a matter of fact, to a man named P.N. Gwynn. Why? Is that bad? Should we not have done that?
The disappointment, like the disappointed Batman dad voice here on the phone, so withering. So brutal.
We haven't done anything foolish, have we?
Disposing of pre-atomic submarines to persons who don't even leave their full addresses.
Good day, Admiral.
Gosh.
Admiral Fangschleister is not going to be getting a good night's sleep tonight. He's going to be just dark night of the soul, no pun intended, thinking about getting read for filth by Batman. I also want to say, I'm very impressed with the shipwrights that the Penguin must be working with, because they got this thing up in dry dock, did a full hull repaint, and added fun Penguin flipper propellers to the back of it, and redid the periscope so that it looks like a bird.
And made it ballistic missile capable, because this thing from time to time shoots missiles into the air that seem to be weapons, but also ways to sort of skywrite messages to Gotham City.
This is Riddler's contribution to the scheme. They shoot these Polaris missiles into the air, and big, like, this looked like maybe they actually did get a real skywriter to do this on a very not windy day. The first 2 riddles are, what does a turkey do when he flies upside down, and what weighs 6 ounces, sits in a tree, and is very dangerous?
I'm really glad you don't have to solve any of these. Instead, you're going to be given scenes of their solutions being found multiple times in this movie.
The stakes could not be higher. They realize that if indeed this is all for loose supervillains, they're not just trying to go for Gotham or even America. This is a world takeover that hinges on them eliminating the Bat.
The sequence of, oh my God, they're working together.
Some of the angles of that rectangle is too monstrous to contemplate.
Cutting directly to these very same supervillains totally upset by being foiled again is really great.
Yeah.
You never feel in danger is I think my point with that. Like, we're never made to take the villain seriously, almost as much as we're not really ever made to take Batman and Robin seriously.
The schemes that the villains come up with are as elaborate as the logical leaps that Batman and Robin take every time they encounter a clue.
What has yellow skin and rights?
A ballpoint banana.
Right.
The next scheme is we got to figure out a way to get Batman here to our lair up above the super rough and tumble wharfside bar, and we'll kill him here. And the way we will kill him is by launching him out a window into the clutches of an exploding octopus with which we are in league. And the way we're going to do that, we can't just tell Batman where we are, but if we seduce a millionaire, then Batman will come to the rescue of that millionaire. So we got to send Kitka out to find, just any random millionaire will do. But in particular, we don't like this Bruce Wayne character because of all of his charitable work.
Kitka's seduction is effective because when they're together at Wayne Manor, she is very foxy, very flirty.
Oh, duh.
The vibes were great. This third Catwoman did an amazing job. I watched the first 10 minutes of the commentary by Adam West and Burt Ward, and they said the lady that played Catwoman was profoundly nervous when she came to audition and was nervous to be on set, but it does not come through. Her performance is so it is every bit as over the top as anybody else. It is unreservedly sexy and silly and funny, and she really does a great job, I think.
Well, yes, I do agree with that, but also whatever chemistry they're hoping happens between these two characters, when they kiss later in Miss Kitka's apartment, it is two adults working their hardest to keep their mouths shut and just kind of smushing their faces together. It was anti-sexy in a pretty big way.
Not one of the great on-screen kisses.
I've rarely met a girl who's such a potent argument in favor of international relations.
So they're going to go on this big elaborate date, and Alfred is going to put on a robber mask, and he and Robin are going to ride around in the Batmobile nearby, keeping an eye on things via some kind of closed circuit television that they can access no matter where Batman goes.
Did you feel any weirdness, talented Mr. Robin vibes from the way they followed Adam West's character around? At times, really leaning in and watching the action, and at other times becoming more uncomfortable with the idea of them doing that?
It's a new piano. Probably shouldn't.
There's only one thing here that looks like Batman. It's you.
This may prove to be a most memorable night.
First spot on the date is a very fancy restaurant with guys playing violas near their table and Bruce Wayne enjoying a snifter of milk, as you do. They go on a horse-drawn carriage ride. Then they go to a third location, a nightclub where there's a French lady singing. And they talk about what a drag it is to live in these two cultures that are so far apart, this iron curtain that separates us. And this is when Kitka leans in and starts whispering into Bruce's ear, and Robin and Alfred are like, we probably shouldn't watch this. This is starting to get a little steamy, so let's turn off the CCTV, blow in a call to Commissioner Gordon.
It's on this call that Robin hatches the idea of maybe turning on the bat signal in order to make it seem as though Batman and Robin would respond to such a signal at police headquarters, thus leaving Miss Kitka and Bruce Wayne, alone and more easily kidnappable.
Yeah, the villains will assume that that Batman and Robin are like off the table if the signal goes up.
If we're basing the response time on what we see later on in the movie of them just deciding to run instead of using a vehicle, I think that's a smart plan.
There's like this amazingly weird scene where they're like sitting together and Bruce Wayne has like closed his eyes and is almost having like a waking sex dream about her. And she uses his distractedness at this strange moment to pull out a little transmitter that looked like a kitty cat with glowing eyes and send Morse code back to the bad guys. Penguin is so excited about this that he orders his pirate guys to get the jetpack umbrellas out.
Ladies, if you're ever in a situation where your man needs to close their eyes and sort of imagine a scenario of lovemaking, I don't think he's that into you. I think that's pretty clear.
Kind of makes you wonder just how Mr. Bruce Wayne, philanthropist millionaire, is wired. He's always hanging around with that boy Ward.
And what's going on here seems pretty pervy, doesn't it?
Just about the only thing erect in this scene are the giant umbrellas that the bad guys are flying, like broomsticks, right?
These were not what I was picturing when jetpack umbrellas were described.
Yeah, pretty great.
A whole bunch of them, swarm of baddies, head toward the penthouse apartment where Kitka is preparing to get Bruce Wayne all loved up. And he expresses that he has the feeling that he's about to be carried away. Enter the criminals to attempt to carry him away. Kitka almost gives up her secret identity by hissing like a kitty cat when some fighting breaks out.
If only Robin and Alfred were paying attention, but they've switched off the feed by this point, so Bruce Wayne is on his own.
I mean, some things have to be private, even for a crime fighter.
Your discretion is admirable, Master Robin. Yes.
By the time they turn it back on, the deed is done. Bruce Wayne has been abducted, and the apartment is empty. And he's being flown back on the back of one of these rocket umbrellas. And there's like a passage of time edit with the spinning newspaper technique that I had been waiting for all movie. The headline is like, millionaire abducted, and the villains are up the next morning going like, what gives? Where is Batman? He was supposed to come last night and get this guy. This fucks up our whole plan.
In the seaside lair, we see why. Bruce Wayne wakes back up again and immediately asks about who he really cares about the most in the entire world, Miss Kitka.
I swear by heaven, if you've harmed that girl, I'll kill you all.
And then he starts running around ramming into things with his head because his hands are tied behind his back, but his feet aren't. That's great.
One of these lunge runs lands him behind the changing screen that Catwoman has used, I think, a couple times at this point.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure he was going to like see something back there that tipped him off, or just like, I don't know, like going behind that screen feels like he's entered the Holy of Holies in a way, but nothing ever comes of that.
Yeah, it's just for modesty. That's it.
He's desperate to know whether Kitka is safe. And so Catwoman suggests they blindfold him and take him to Chamber 17. And they blindfold him and she quickly changes into her Kitka costume. And they tie her up and they leave her and Bruce Wayne in a bed together so that I guess she could like pump him for more information.
Is this where Catwoman sleeps when she stays at Villain HQ? What is this?
It seems like, it's too nice to be prison cell.
And it definitely wasn't there before they moved in.
They definitely set it up. Like they set this place up though. Like there's all those shelving units with the different villains' personal effects. There's a room for Schmidlap, which I guess is set up to look like his stateroom on his yacht so that he doesn't realize that Schmidlap has not put it together that he is a prisoner, even now.
How small would your world have to be before you realize that you were in a trap of this kind?
In the age where you can be on a yacht that could get stuck in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, it feels more plausible, I guess, but also Schmidlap is a fucking moron.
I think if you built a Truman Show style amount of acreage that was maybe within 4 or 5 blocks of my house, it would take me days before I realized I was I was trapped in something.
It's an easier era to get away with it because Schmidlap wouldn't have access to like GPS or...
Right. And Schmidlap's also an idiot, whereas I am not.
Schmidlap wants some tea, so that's complicating things. They're always having to bring some tea to that guy. And when the villains walk away, Bruce Wayne is like, hey, I'm really rich. I often walk around with kind of a lot of cash on me. Kitka, there is a secret radio transmitter tied to my arm under my tuxedo. We're both tied up, but if you could like shimmy it out of there, we could call for help. And that could even mean like Batman could come rescue us.
As soon as the bad guys hear this, they pull Bruce out of the room, and the Joker tries to get at that transmitter, but takes off his restraints first in order to do it, and then another huge fight breaks out.
In untying Bruce Wayne, they unwittingly opened a can of whoop-ass, and unfortunately for them, one of their henchmen accidentally lands on the giant spring that was there to launch Batman out the window into the clutches of the exploding octopus. And I guess they only have the one exploding octopus. So when this hench gets blown to smithereens, probably they don't have like a backup to the plan anymore, right?
I want to say, Ben, I like this movie, but if you gave me a moment where a hench gets launched hundreds of yards in the air before exploding after hitting the water, as many times as we got Batman and Robin sliding down the fire pole, like just switch those. I want to see 8 people explode with explodey octopus and one time riding the pole.
There needs to be more coordination among studios on things like this, because if they had just asked, like, I'm sure War of the Gargantuas was done with their octo puppet at this point.
Yeah.
Send it on over.
This poor guy gets it worse than anyone in the movie. What a death. RSVP that guy.
Bruce Wayne manages to get out the window and does a very elegant high dive into the harbor where he, I guess, just like swims home. He gets back to Wayne Manor, and Commissioner Gordon and Dick Grayson are just like milling around the front room. And he's like, okay, yeah. Glad to be back. I gave him the slip. So they go back to the Batcave. They hit the bat suit switch again. They get in the Batmobile. They cruise out. Villains realize they're running out of time. They need to get their submarine going now if they're going to do the other part of their big plan. And we finally get to find out what this invention that they've stolen is. It is a dehydrator ray, and to give us a sense of what it does, they line up 5 of their henchmen and dehydrate them into little piles of dust, one by one. And the amazing thing about these henchmen is how willing they are to stand there and be turned into piles of dust, even after the other henchmen have been turned into piles of dust. Like, they're going down this line and they're just standing there with their arms behind their back, like at parade rest, not even reacting to the pile of dust situation that's happening to their colleagues.
The second most surprising thing about this scene, and it's close, I think, is when Catwoman is made to clean up these piles, she does not think to turn around and piss on any of these granules like I expected her to. Instead, she just uses a brush and a dustpan, and she puts them in individual Not beakers. What am I thinking?
Vials.
Vials, yeah. With like a little cork on top.
Did you ever have the powder candy Raven's Revenge as a kid?
No.
This was a thing that was like briefly available during my childhood, and my parents really like discouraged me getting it because they thought it was meant to mimic drug paraphernalia. But it's just like colorful sugar in vial that you would buy and just like pour into your mouth.
Yeah.
So Batman and Robin make it to the port, and they talk about how the evils of rum have corrupted all of the people that hang around down here.
I love how Batman has a hard line and Robin has a harder line. I think he says something like, I would rather die than let a drop of alcohol touch my lips.
I was feeling very weird at this moment because I had just ordered microdose mushroom gummies, and in the package was a sample of another product that this company sells, and it is commercially packaged MDMA. And I was like, I didn't order this. Why the fuck do I have MDMA?
What a nice gift.
And I'm like looking at the screen, and Robin is like, I wouldn't even have a sip of alcohol.
Well, enjoy going shirtless over the weekend and rubbing yourself on your carpet.
Yeah, I guess I'll be rolling on Father's Day.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Batman and Robin arrive at the lair of the villains, and the villains have cleared out, and in their stead is a Acme cartoon style sphere-shaped bomb with like a flare wick in it. And initially, Batman's thought is for Miss Kitka. He's like, we can't let her blow up. I've got to go find her. And he goes to that bedroom. She's not there. So secondary concern, get rid of this bomb. And he goes to throw it out the window, but he looks out the window and there's like a 3-piece brass band marching around. There's civilians down there. You can't just throw this bomb there. It'll hurt people.
The length of time it takes for Batman to run around this area holding a bomb over his head, looking for a suitable place to dispose of it, is minutes long, is how long the sequence goes.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
This was the clip of this movie that I was most familiar with, and I feel like it got passed around as like, can you fucking believe how stupid and implausible this Batman movie was? It's like, yeah, guys, it's jokes. Like, he turns one direction, there's nuns. He turns the other directions, there's a baby in a pram. Like, those are jokes.
That's the joke.
For anyone to run around holding something like this above their head for this amount of time, it looked physically exhausting.
Yeah.
As much as it was comedically exhausting, I think.
Have you seen that Congo guy that like stands still at the World Cup matches?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically that.
Finally, Batman finds a suitable place to chuck it. It explodes off screen, like out of frame. And when Robin finally finds Batman and asks him why he didn't let the bar patrons blow up, as Robin would have allowed, because those are trash people who chose alcohol above anything else.
You risked your life to save that riffraff in the bar?
Batman says they may be drinkers, but they're also human beings, in a way that I hope Wynde takes, clips, and uses for us on episodes that we drink.
You realize that the kind of moral authority that Batman represents in this is very much the kind of moral authority that, say, a Captain Picard represents, you know? A true believer in the best of humanity while lamenting some of its pitfalls. It's really stirring to see it in this moment.
I think the shock of the moment is what Penguin is depending on when he rolls up on them dressed as Commodore Shiplap.
Holy costume party, that's the Penguin.
Obviously.
For some reason, Batman and Robin agree to gas him and take him to the Batcave to confirm his identity.
They are not fooled. No ruse in this movie fools Batman and Robin at any point. But
No.
They're like, this is a trap, and he's just trying to sneak into the Batcave. Nevertheless, we are going to bring him to the Batcave. And when they wake him up, he's like, ooh, gosh, whatever you gave me really made me thirsty. Why don't you point me in the direction of a water fountain. And what he was not anticipating is that hooking a hose up to the water fountain would accidentally throw the switch from potable drinking water to nuclear heavy water. And so when he rehydrates his goons from their vials, they're not composed of quite the same stuff as they were when they were dehydrated.
Yeah, it's one punch, one kill for each one of these henches. Everyone's very surprised by this.
The slightest impact was sufficient to instantly reduce them to antimatter.
Antimatter?
Total, complete, absolute annihilation.
They pop like balloons, and that is down to the heavy water. And Batman's like genuinely sorry about this. Like, oh man, that sucks for you. Like you had a pretty good plan, and your guys died. How sad.
I think he's sorrier about the dolphin death earlier than he is about these 5 guys.
Yeah. So on the road, Batman and Robin, having just condemned everyone for drinking, have a couple of gummies. And when the Penguin tries to gas them with his umbrella, those gummies have made them invincible to his knockout potion. So they allow Penguin knowingly to steal the Batmobile, but they've stashed the Bat motorcycle right there on the side of the road where this was all going to go down. And they can get to the Batcopter and get back on the case.
Very much a DeLorean from Back to the Future hidden behind the sign for the housing development kind of situation here.
The Bat motorcycle with sidecar that turns into go-kart is in this movie so briefly, and yet is such a elaborate idea for a conveyance so that they can get to the copter and be on either side. So like one of them doesn't have to run around the front of the canopy to get in.
That's it exactly. Like that, they would construct something so complex for a challenge that isn't even a challenge. Amazing.
We know these guys are in good shape and can run.
Yeah.
Disengage, go-kart.
Another time on the submarine, the bad guys are assuming that everything is going great and assume that Penguin has done the job and finished the Batman off by sneaking henchmen into the Batcave. Joker pulls the Riddler aside and is like, hey man, maybe knock it off with sending the crazy clues up in the air. And Riddler's like, no man, I gotta do it. That's like my whole thing. I'm the Riddler.
I never would have thought in a Batman film that the Joker would never be the alpha. But the Riddler is the most dangerous, roguish villain of all of these people, I feel like.
He is played the way I think the Joker has kind of come to be played too. Like the jokes and the mayhem that the chaotic evil of the Joker nowadays is much more evident in the Riddler in this film.
Weren't you also struck by how closely Jim Carrey's performance matched that of Frank Gorshin? Like in physicality?
Yeah, yeah.
It really made me appreciate what Carrey was doing in his version in a way that wasn't possible for me at the time.
I kind of feel like Jack Nicholson took some of this too, though, you know?
Well, Nicholson played the Joker and not the Riddler.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's weird that this manic energy made it into two different characters after the fact. They shoot this Polaris missile into the air with more riddles to explode into the sky. But because Batman and Robin are in the Batcopter, it just so happens to clip their tail rudder and send the Batcopter dangerously spinning. But don't worry, it lands on a big pile of cast-offs from the foam rubber wholesalers convention.
I'd say the odds against it would make even the most reckless gambler cringe.
Like if this was The Simpsons, they would have flown right past that and into the thumbtack warehouse, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you think this whole villain leaving clues everywhere intentionally quality to especially the Riddler, but also basically every villain in the movie is the hubris of supervillainy going, or the idea of a serial killer leaving clues because they feel impossible to catch.
Right. It's like part of the juice for them is toying with the police or whatever.
It definitely feels like it. It definitely feels like these villains could get away with what they're doing if they just stayed mission focused.
So these riddles are: what goes up white and comes down yellow and white, and how do you divide 16 apples among 17 people? Answers: an egg and applesauce. And obviously that means the United Nations, or the United World Organization, as it is referred to in this film. Batcopter down, Robin suggests maybe we catch a cab.
No, Robin, not at this time of day. Luckily, we're in tip-top condition. It'll be faster if we run. Let's go.
What goes up white? Are they talking about chicken cum? Because then the egg comes down yellow and white? What does the first part of that even mean?
Like the shell of the egg.
Okay. All right. Got to get my head out of the gutter.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been more evocative if it had what goes up brown and comes down yellow and white. You know?
Oof. Yeah.
Anyways, the submarine arrives at a abandoned submarine base under the UN. Joker, Riddler, and Catwoman enter through an abandoned elevator shaft, sort of wondering idly if Penguin will ever actually meet up with them. But of course, he's there. He's just gone in via the lobby, puffing his umbrella gas at everyone. I love the guards that get knocked out and fall into each other and are unconscious, leaning, standing up against each other.
Yeah, that's fun. That's really fun. It's also fun how physical Burgess Meredith is in this film. And not just with what his body is doing, but with the constant penguin noises. And, you combine that with the puffing of the long cigarette and delivering dialogue. He's doing so many things simultaneously. I was really impressed by this performance.
The cigarette and like two-handing the umbrella feels like a real high wire act for an actor to be like getting all of the business of all of those things right while delivering dialogue. The UN Security Council just meets in kind of a nondescript office meeting room, and it is 9 member states who just sit and yell at each other in their native languages with no translation.
Don't wait for the translation! Answer me now!
And they're all yelling at each other about how much they want peace, but they also can't seem to agree on anything. Enter the villains. And the diplomats are like so caught up in their nonsensical argument that it doesn't even seem to register to them that a bunch of very eccentric weirdos have just busted into their room.
This goes just the way the guinea pigs were dehydrated. In a row, they go, and no one fights it. No one even notices it when it's their turn coming next. And what is left in all of their seats is a different color powder that reminded me of like the Paz Easter egg dye powder you got as a kid and mixed up into your little mugs. Each of these guys gets a little different color there of pile.
I got to see if they still make Raven's Revenge. Order some. Anyways, Batman and Robin arrive at the bottom of the building, which, they're like 30 stories up or something at the Security Council. So they order the building sealed, and then they go up and confront the baddies in the Security Council lobby. What a disappointing reveal to the other villains that Penguin did not accomplish his mission. The villains have cover because Batman and Robin believe that they have Kitka prisoner. All they have to do is threaten this fictional person, and Batman and Robin are going to back off, baby.
They do, and they get in their escape submarine. I mean, if you're going to delegate any task, you want to delegate your weirdest communicator to the one having to do with ransom demands. Yeah. You got to imagine those are really tedious if you're like the country of origin of any of these folks and you're like, what the fuck just happened? What are they trying to say here? I think it means hostages, but I don't know.
Make those messages clear! Make those messages clear!
$1 billion a piece. I mean, I know it's 1966, but it feels like some of these countries could be asked for more money.
I think so. Yeah.
Like I would say set that as the floor and smaller developing countries, but like West Germany, UK, United States, like I want like 10 from those.
You see how unproductive this group is with each other. I honestly think that would be overpaying by a significant amount.
Also, the Penguin is going to provide carrier pigeons to bring the funds to them at such time as the nations pony up. But no time to talk about that because the Bat boat is closing in. They try to fire another one of these Polaris missiles. This one is not full of riddles. It is full of a tracking device that will take out the Bat boat. And it seems like the dynamic duo are doomed until Batman reveals he just happens to have the radio transmitter frequency of a Polaris-type missile down by heart. And he has Robin, like, jam the signal and eliminate the missile.
It's really interesting how often Batman delegates to Robin for saving their lives. I really would have expected Batman to be the hero all the way through a Batman film.
Yeah.
Never expected this much work for Robin.
Didn't expect it either. Robin gets a lot done.
Again, I think we mentioned it earlier. Robin may be Batman's slave.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to tell based on the evidence we get here.
But like in a negotiated power exchange way, right? Like they're into it, and the reason they don't reveal their secret identities is that would sort of be like a consent violation for a public that need not be brought into their dynamic.
They're already keeping the public out of their private lives in a pretty big way.
How many times do the villains celebrate the death of Batman and Robin having assumed that their plan worked in this movie?
Constantly, and their form of celebration was always kind of a jumpy, dancey, high-fivey kind of way.
I kind of wish that like they'd kept popping bottles of champagne or something, like one extra thing to just...
What a great detail that would have been, Ben, to make the villains also people who consume alcohol.
There you go, because then you wouldn't feel so bad if they died at the end.
They would have deserved to die, according to Batman, and especially Robin.
They may be drinkers, Robin, but they're also human beings.
Hey, Robin, little bit of a hypocrite just taking mixed pills whenever Batman hands them to you, also.
Not asking what it is. You know, it's like, what do you think this is, a Fish concert?
Yeah. Robin's real California sober, looks like.
No kidding.
Swallow this pill.
The submarine is like firing torpedoes at the Batboat, and Robin is eliminating them with this weird energy cannon thing. And then they start like circling the ocean above where the submarine is and shooting that gun into the water at the sub. And is this when Commodore Schmidlap realizes that he is a prisoner? No, he seems unbothered by the sub rocking and tumbling.
What's in his tea, do you think?
Maybe he also got some free MDMA.
Yeah.
They also threw in a packet of mushroom tea as well, which was, that was nice.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just do it all at once, you know?
Yeah, we won't need you until... Actually, we are recording Monday. I was going to say we won't need you until Tuesday. Yeah, maybe do those things on Saturday.
Yeah, let it wear off. Good thinking. The bangers hitting this sub seem to be particularly dangerous to the rack of Raven's Revenge that represents the powdered remains of the ambassadors from the Security Council. But though it teeters on the edge of the map table in the bridge of the submarine, it never falls. And the submarine is forced to surface, and we get a great big showdown on the deck of the sub where all of the piratey guys and the more serious looking black sweater henchmen and all of the supervillains come out. Catwoman even brings her kitty cat out with her.
I was so surprised. In a film that taught me what to expect when it came to fistfights, that we finally got the on-screen onomatopoeia text of the hand-to-hand combat here, blew me away.
We've had a number of knockdown, drag-out fights in this movie, but they really saved this for the climactic event. It is a compound fight scene with many phases, like guys getting knocked over the railing into the water. Batman, for a big period of the fight, is running around holding the cat until he can get it safely into a rescue dinghy that is, for some reason, hooked up to the side of the boat.
Did you hear what he told it when he put it in the dinghy?
It's a phrase that will be echoing in my head for eternity, Adam.
Bon voyage, Missy.
I mean, it's probably something you said at the end of most college parties.
All?
Yeah.
Maybe.
How about Catwoman being the last villain standing? I think I would have bet this. She seems to be the most capable generally.
Yeah.
But when she falls over, she unintentionally unmasks herself.
What a stunning reveal. And Batman is really torn up as he processes the fact that his paramour is, in fact, the supervillain Catwoman.
It's just one of those things in the life of every crime fighter.
This was such a great moment because literally the camera stays on Adam West's face for 10 seconds. We're not pushing in on him. We're just on him, watching only his eyes under the mask register his feelings. I feel like someone told Adam West that you could win an award for what we're about to film here. So really give it your best. And he did. He performs Heartbreak so well.
He should have won an award. I have no idea who did at the 66 Oscars, but if it wasn't Adam West, they didn't deserve it.
Oh, Ben, you're going to love this. Lee Marvin. You better believe if the person at the microphone said Adam West won, Lee Marvin would have fucking punched Adam West's lights out.
And the word would have come up on screen when he did it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the vials have been spared, and they're still there right on the edge of the table. Weirdly, a couple of them have like quite a bit less material in them than the others, which I wondered about.
Is that a fat body, thin body joke?
I wondered. Anyways, Commodore Schmidlap stumbles into the bridge and knocks this thing over. You fucking bozo, Schmidlap. That was the whole thing.
It would be Schmidlap, wouldn't it? What a dope.
Good thing they have a super molecular dust separator back at the Batcave, which is where we are now. And Batman is talking to Commissioner Gordon on the phone about what they're doing. And then LBJ calls Commissioner Gordon to wish Batman luck. And then it's revealed that this has all been part of some sort of live news broadcast that is being watched by the public.
The detail that I love is that Batman gets the red phone treatment and the president of the United States gets a standard black phone. It's so great.
The world is gathered. Everybody in every country is on tenterhooks to see if Batman and Robin can get these different colors of dust separated and put back into piles so that they can be recombined. And ultimately, they're like back in the Security Council headquarters, which is, I will remind you, just a pretty nondescript conference room. And they link all the vials up to another elaborate manifold for distributing water among them. And Robin connects that via garden hose to a supply of explicitly very not heavy water. This is light water.
Yeah, this is the water you want coming out of your shower when you're rinsing your conditioner out of your hair.
Exactly. Tense moment, but one by one, the diplomats come back and the world rejoices. Batman and Robin have done it. They've saved the day. And the diplomats, hey, they get back to what they were doing this whole time. They're just fighting like cats and dogs.
But they're not speaking their native languages as they argue. And this is a fun little callback to an argument that Batman and Robin have about maybe we should tinker with these powders a little bit in order to create a greater intelligence or whatever for these people. Batman, knocks that idea down immediately. But when we see the results of what happened when everyone's rehydrated again, you're thinking, oh, Did they unintentionally improve these people? They don't stick around long enough to find out. Batman's like, hey, let's leave out the window.
Sorry, I got a joke before we go out the window. Yeah, Adam, I guess you could say it's a bit of a Tower of Batbull.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad we went back for that. Pretty bold to hook your bat rope to that little window crank that opens the window. I wouldn't have guessed that was load bearing, personally.
I've got that style window crank in my house all over the place, and I don't like even cranking it. It seems too fragile for the cranking.
Load-bearing crank is kind of what kept me going through my 20s.
If I took a big mug, like bigger than this, like maybe it's made out of ceramic, and I drink beer out of it, and I use the little hole for the handle to turn that thing, would that be a Crankenstein? A Crankenstein?
A Crankenstein. And if you did that for, 10 years and got board certified in it, I think you would be a Dr. Crankenstein.
I would, yeah. And if once I opened that window, out popped a terrifying creature, looked to be made out of dead body parts, would that be Dr. Crankenstein's monster that I was looking at?
No, I don't think so. I think that what you're going to want is a creature that looks like Admiral Akbar. Famously, his species is Mon Calamari. And then he reaches up and gives a little jostle to the liquid inside your mug. So that would be a Dr. Crankenstein's monster.
That felt good.
And with that, did you like Batman 1966?
Our job is finished.
So much. One unexpected quality from this project, other than learning more about our employees than I ever thought possible.
A bunch of sick fucks working at this company.
I think I've said this a lot when we've done our own film projects. I like knowing my friends through the movies that they like. This is another example of that. But I never expected for Star Trek, the original series, to be the serious one of 1966, The
amount of silliness that we have experienced in these 3 weeks is really off the charts. And it is a kind of comedy that doesn't completely work nowadays. Like a lot of what I'm sure had people falling out of their seats in the movie theaters is not gut-bustingly funny in our present context. One of my favorite observations I've ever heard about this is I directed a music video for a reggae artist who was visiting New York from Jamaica. He was in town for a month and decided he wanted to shoot a video for one of his songs. And we shot it. And at the end of the day, we were wrapping up the set, and a few people were standing around talking. And he said something that everybody was like, wait, what did... I don't even remember what he said, but he's like, oh, that was a joke. It's really hard to convey humor outside of your own culture. Oh yeah, this is humor from outside of my culture. The past is a different country, and
the undiscovered country for some people.
And yet, with these 3 movies, I feel like we're starting to understand the contours of what the vibe was and why Star Trek fit so well in that context.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned a lot, more than I ever thought I would by watching these movies, about the time Star Trek was born, in a way that I'm glad I have.
A time that was optimistic for the future.
Indeed.
Well, Adam, this has been a ton of fun, and I can't wait to get back into New Trek next week. But in the meantime, why don't we check inside the Priority One inbox?
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Got a promotional Priority 1 message here, Adam.
Wham! Boom! Pow!
In June 2026, the ground broke open beneath Venezuela. The disaster took thousands of lives and left countless families with nothing but the dust where their homes once stood. Venezuelan director David Calcano and his studio, Fantunes, have worked with the band Rush for over 10 years. He reached out to the band in the rawest hour asking for help. They answered, as always, with no hesitation. Open hands and open hearts. They are honored to collaborate on this unique shirt that will change lives. Available only for a limited time at fantunes.shop, all profits go directly to Hogar Bombi, which for 30 years has sheltered Venezuela's orphaned and abandoned children. They are now aiding the youngest victims of this disaster, turning every dollar into food, medicine, and shelter. This came from David Calcano of Fantunes on behalf of Uxbridge Shimoda member Jay Mateo. And I think this is the cause we should be supporting right now. What an urgent and tragic thing. Anyone who's lived through an earthquake knows how absolutely devastating it can be. And I really hope the Friends of DeSoto will rally behind this.
Yeah, Ben, while you were talking, I went to fantunes.shop and got that sweet Rush shirt. I think one of the upsides to doing something good at a time like this is actually getting a sweet Rush shirt at the same time. And that's what I'd recommend for any Rush fan out there. This one just happens to direct a lot of help where it's really needed at the moment.
A win-win. Thank you so much to everyone who supports this urgent project, and to the folks in Venezuela. Our hearts go out to you. Like, what a horrific situation.
Absolutely. Ben, we got a second Priority One message here. It is of a personal nature, and it's to you and me, and for reasons possibly mictorate. I wasn't specific enough before, and I guess that P is on me. This one's from SP. And it's asking whoever's reading this to read it as Kevin, so here's that. Everyone knows best boss I ever had is the preferred passphrase, but what my theory presupposes is that perhaps a P1 of specific shibboleth is the only certain shibboleth. Myriad entrepreneurial Miriams enterprise to study urinary sciences aboard the USS Bashir, seeking sex, piss-sick maquis convalescing in Six Bay, but for some reason, Jake Sisko. Anyway, Madigie O'Callaghan drop.
Would you like to hold my hand? Would you like to kiss me? Well, good morning, boys.
The spirits have turned her into a cow.
I'm not quite myself today.
Oh?
What kind of a girl do you think I am? Bitch, I'm a cargo move. I was walking around town with nothing but a bell around my neck. Everyone was staring at me.
Hey, Adam, I don't want to brag, but I personally have never mispronounced shibboleth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I nail it every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I managed to both make it through part of and get tripped up by that tire maze that SP had me jog through. What a thing.
What a thing. You know, without the Big Lebowski, would anybody know what mictorate means?
I'm not so sure. Yeah, that movie was important in so many ways.
Pardon the terminology, but it really injected that into the vernacular. Wow. Well, if you'd like to support a great cause or cause us to dip into one of our beloved characters, you can do so by going to greatesttrek.com and booking a P1 today. It really helps us, and sometimes it can really help support people who really need it. So really appreciate it.
Good work.
Hey, Adam.
What's that, Ben?
Did you find yourself an Edward Larkin?
Edward Larkin! Yeah, mine's going to be Robin when he takes the mystery pill from Batman while they're driving around. The sort of friendship where you don't even ask the person giving you the thing and you just take it. I've got a friend like that. If he says, take this, I've known this guy for 25 years. I'm going to trust that he knows what he's doing. So I've taken mystery pills before and had a great time. Not that I would ever recommend anyone ever do that.
Yes, and for the record, I am going to flush these MDMA gummies down the toilet.
Yeah, I would rather die than let any of those touch my lips. Much like Robin thinks.
I think that the people that do this type of shit are immoral monsters who, more or less deserve what's coming to them. That moment stuck out to me as well. It really flew off the screen as just like, holy fucking shit. They just had that conversation about the perils of the drink. Like,
especially because for decades after this movie, we will have watched scenes very similar to this, where the person taking the mystery pill has their lives completely exploded for this choice.
Yeah, like wake up with no shoes on a plane home from Vegas kind of experience.
You said it.
This movie is closer in time to Prohibition than we are to this movie.
Incredible.
And yet, what a hangover. Well, Adam, we've got one final segment we like to do on every episode of Greatest Trek. It's called Warning Bois, in which a buoy flops open and projects a nice thing somebody has said on the internet about our show. We really appreciate it, and we highlight them here because it makes a big difference in the discoverability of our podcast.
Prepare a buoy and launch it when ready.
Warning buoys.
An emergency buoy.
A warning buoy.
Adam, we have a warning boa from Blue Sky. This is a little bit of an older one, but I was just thinking about Trek Fart Connection the other day and how much fun it was to make that project. This is from J4YX0R on Blue Sky, who reached out to say, just wanted to let y'all know you made the YouTube children's music algorithm along with Gwar. Be proud. And then it is a screenshot of YouTube, the children's section of YouTube, listing Trek Fart Connection as children's music. And then under it, also children's music by Pogo, Jeff Russo, Gwar, and more. So we're in good Star Trek company and in good puppet company, I guess.
You are. Very proud of your work on that project, Ben. And maybe you should be the proudest of wrecking people's algorithms for doing it.
I fear some children may be more harmed by that than Gwar. But that's the kind of thing we do around here. Thanks to anyone who leaves a nice message about the show on social media or leaves a nice 5-star review in their podcast app. We really appreciate it. With that, we're going to leave the episode in the capable hands of our producer and editor, Wynde Priddy, who will tell you a little bit about what's coming up next week. It's really exciting. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Wynde.
Greatest Trek is an Uxbridge Shimoda podcast. It's hosted by Ben Harrison and Adam Kranica, and it's produced and edited by Wynde Priddy. Now that we've wrapped up our annual employee reviews, next week we're getting back into new Star Trek. The season 4 premiere of Strange New Worlds is called Valles Marineris, and we'll be back in your feed next Friday with a review and a special guest spot from friend of the pod, Tawny Newsome. Until then, we want to say thank you to all the members who are supporting this show. You can join them right now, greatesttrek.com, or just click the support link that's right there in your show notes. Members get an ad-free feed, plus a lot of great bonus episodes, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you to Adam Ragusia for composing our theme music. Thanks to Rob Adler and Bill Tilley for working on the @GreatestTrek social media pages. Follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube, and use the hashtag #GreatestTrek when you post about the show. Make sure you're signed up for the Greatest newsletter. You can do that over at podshop.biz, where we keep all the fun merch. You can also book a P1 there, and that's another great way to support the show. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on Greatest Trek.
Uxbridge Shimoda.